What's going on, guys? Car livery. Guess what? My client's first car. And guess what she got it with? Car livery. We delivering the car to her. First day she got a license. First day she got her car.
Got my license yesterday. I got my license yesterday and I got my car today. Thanks for car livery.
Hey yo, new book from Lakey out now. Go cop that. Yo, listen, man, I got some major dudes that be checking out my Instagram reels. You heard? My Instagram reel game is serious. So if you out there and you need to promote something, a business, a clothing brand, an artist, a new mixtape, new album video, whatever it is you out there trying to push, you might want to be on these Instagram reels I'm throwing out here, baby. You already know I got the YouTube promo popping. But if you need that double dragon, that Instagram and YouTube promo, get at me. As always, holla at the bro Life Through Galleries if you need a photographer in New York. Classic magazine cover I was on. A lot of heavy hitters in this picture, that's a whole fact.
Them niggas got niggas on the floor, they pistol whipping niggas. They just went up to the first crowd and started punishing them. So boom, we riding, we in the car, we get away from the scene, but the cab driver ain't know his way back to the highway and he ended up circling back around the block. When he circled around the block and shit, the police is there. All of the people point at us like, there they go!
But yeah, you said you was 16 when you went out to Connecticut to hustle, but you was with other Harlem niggas?
I didn't go to hustle. I happened to see my niggas was moving some shit back then. Like, you know, we niggas was moving, just to be frank, fuck it, this many years ago, niggas was moving dust. You know what I mean? I was a part of a team of niggas from my neighborhood that was, you know, getting money. You know what I'm saying? And this kid, one of the customers that was coming over, was buying a lot of the shit with a lot of dust. And I happened to ask the nigga anyway, you know, one thing led to another. My brother ended up getting with the nigga because I went to jail. I opened my brother's eyes to the nigga like, yo, he ain't smoking all that shit. That nigga gotta be getting some type of money because he's buying way too much. So my brother I spoke to the kid and I asked him, was he smoking all that shit? And that nigga said, nah, I smoke it and I sell it. So anyway, I get locked up for a gun for some shit that happened in the Bronx while I was in school. Some nigga got a gun on me in school and shit. And I never made it back to school. I got a gun because I was gonna go back to school and dumb on this nigga whole environment. But I ended up getting caught with the gun with my brother too.
Why the nigga backed the hammer out on you?
Well, I just got to the school, and when I was coming to the school and I was getting in, this was like my second day. The school was in the Bronx.
What school you talking about?
Some shit called St. Agatha's or St. Augustine's or some shit like that. Some shit by Jane Addams wasn't too far. Bronx Regional wasn't too far. I'm not sure. These was just the schools I think was in the area at the time and shit. That stuck out to me and shit. It's either, I don't want to give no wrong streets, but I think this shit was over by either Prospect or, I'm not sure, man. I'm not throwing no names out there because I didn't last in the school long because of this situation. I went to jail after 2 days in the school or some shit, maybe 3 days a week is tops. So the nigga, when I was walking into the school from lunch, this nigga had some nerd nigga twisted up by the throat in front of the whole, you know how schools be crowded in the front? He had the nigga in the entrance twisted up with his neck pinned to the gate, and he was digging in his pockets and making a mockery out of him in front of a whole bunch of girls and other guys and shit. I didn't like that. You know, I never liked the bullies and shit. You know, my brother was a bully. I always felt like bullies was pussy and shit. So while I'm watching the nigga and shit, I couldn't take it. You know, so while I'm walking past, I just had to, that shit was eating at me. So I said something. I was like, man, that shit could never be me. And I walked into the school. Sure enough, I think it was the same day or some shit, was it? The next day, the nigga, I had a girlfriend in the school already. As soon as I got there, I bagged this chick from Edomore. I forgot her name, but she was nice. Pretty lips. I was sucking on his chick's lips the whole time. But anyway, she came into class and was like, yo, the dude from earlier want to talk to you. So I go out in the hallway. This nigga in the hallway with a Tech 9 in the staircase. I'm like, oh shit, this nigga got a yammer. So I'm like, while I'm looking at the nigga, I'm type shook, but not that punk ass shook. I'm just like, damn, this nigga got me. So the funny shit, another nigga, another one of Big Russ brothers, my nigga Tito. Big Russ with the barbershops and shit. The nigga Tito, I grew up with all of them niggas. The nigga Nicolo brother, again, it's ironic how here's another one, and I didn't even think about this shit. Tito went to the school too. Tito had he was dating the other girl that I was, they was cool. They was a two-piece. He had one and I had the other one. So they went and got the nigga Tito while the nigga had me in the hallway, and he asked me questions. So the nigga asked me, he said, yo, you had some shit to say about that shit I was doing earlier to the kid? And I was like, did you do that shit to me? And he was like, nah, but did you have something to say? I was like, yo, listen, long as you ain't do that shit to me, man, that shit ain't my issue. So as soon as I said that, my man Tito came in the staircase and mushed this nigga on some Nicolo shit again. Remember how I told you the nigga Nicolo had his hand all up in the nigga face while the nigga had a knife? And Nicolo didn't have a knife? Well, Tito did that same shit to the dude in the staircase. He kind of mushed the nigga and he started crying, but not them regular tears. He was a nigga that get angry and start crying and shit and beefing. So he telling the kid, you faggot fuckers, yo, he telling me, yo, you ain't gotta explain nothing to that nigga. Don't explain shit. He like, I seen where you live at. Nigga, you live up the block, motherfucker. He said, your whole fucking crib, your building will be a parking lot in the morning. He damn near, why he saying this shit, he damn near mushing the nigga. The nigga got a hammer in his hand. So I'm pulling at the nigga Tito like, chill, but he going mad hard. I'm trying to get the nigga not to get the nigga to squeeze and all that, right? So anyway, somehow we just end up walking off and the dude end up leaving. After Tito still was beefing when the kid left. Matter of fact, the nigga beefed the whole entire day. Leaving from there, we both was from Harlem, so we had to take the bus from, the train, the overhead train. I think that shit was Prospect area, if I'm not mistaken. Down them hills or something, in a cut, about 2-3 blocks from there, right? So the nigga Tito was like still beefing and flipping. The nigga was like, yo, word to my mother, that faggot nigga, because we smoked the blunt earlier in the building and the kid came out the building. He was like, we seen where that nigga live. He like, we gonna get that nigga. He like, bring your gun, I'm gonna bring my motherfucking gun, and we gonna tear that whole school up, because we felt like, we was in the Bronx. We was two Harlem niggas, so we felt like, them niggas had to understand where we was at with it. And I think at the time where we was at with it was really, really crazy. So Later on, Tito ended up catching a body and doing a bid. A lot of these niggas probably know him too. But I never made it back because I was with my brother, my son Wayne O. When I came home from school, I went straight to getting that burner because I was highly upset that this nigga had the audacity to pull a burner out on me in the hallway. And plus he did it in front of the girl and all that shit. So I was really upset about that. So while I see Wayne O, the nigga Wayne O, I'm telling Wayne O what happened to me in the Bronx. You know, niggas was really tight back then. You could tell a nigga your problems and niggas will instantly assist you in every possible way. You know what I mean? I guess when niggas got older, niggas turned into creeps and, you know, start switching up on their day ones. But the nigga Wayne O took me to his crib. He lived in my building. When we get in the crib, the nigga Wayne O like, yo, this my uncle gun. He gonna be mad if something happened to it. But I guess the nigga loved me. So, cause the nigga was like, I'm just not seeing you get hurt out there. He didn't say that, but that's obviously how he felt, because he gave me his uncle gun. When he gave me this uncle gun, I had it. I was a nigga that played with them shits. So while I had it, I should have just, looking back, I should have put it up and just designated that shit to handling my business. But instead of doing that, my young dumbass, I thought I was a cowboy. That's why my name is John Ryder. I didn't name myself that. My nigga gave me that, God bless him. But, you know, I used to play with them shits a lot. Like, if a nigga, but we could have been taking pictures, and I'd be the one, you know, niggas don't know until they look at the pictures. I probably pulled out a gun in the picture. Like, I just was stupid and wild when it came to that shit. I matured later on in life. But where was I leaving off before I got into all that?
You talking about you end up getting nabbed with that gun.
Yeah, so now, the day before going to the school, I'm walking up, and it's funny because Tito don't know what happened to me. He just know I never came to school. But now you know what happened. I'm walking up the block with my brother now, and I was really seasoned with playing with them guns. My brother was a brawler. He had a lot of respect, but he didn't know, he wasn't no super savage. He was a super savage in a different kind of way, plucking and all that shit.
Who you talking about, Bob?
Nah, Will. You know, he was more hands-on type of guy. He was deep into that, but he wasn't privy to the jungle on some shit like that. I used to have to aid that nigga a lot from werewolves, like Scott and them niggas, you know what I mean? So anyway, at this time, we walking up the block, this stupid motherfucker, we walking, he know I've been playing with these shits by now, but he, to be honest with you, he just started really to getting to know that, because I didn't make a real announcement in the house that I was banging yet. You know what I mean? So they kind of caught up to that late and how active I was. My projects was too cute for me. I moved there from Brownsville, and them niggas was a little bit too fly for me. They, you know, the Brownsville way of life and the Harlem way of life was different. Them little niggas was spoiled. Or them niggas had on Pelés, they was gambling. I thought I was dreaming. Where I was from, niggas wasn't throwing away no money. And niggas really didn't care about money in Brownsville. All niggas gave a fuck about was respect. Niggas would die for that shit. That was a nigga. Nigga didn't even care about girls until later. So I moved to Harlem with that mentality. So when I came there, my brother, as we walking up the fucking block, I stopped my brother and I'm like, yo, let's not walk up this block. We walking up 128th between 7th and Lenox. And my brother like, why? I'm like, this a block, the dicks always, the gun niggas come through this block a lot. But I already knew that you know, certain blocks wasn't blocks you want to walk down when you got that heat on you. So my brother like, what's the difference between this block and all the other blocks? Well, I guess because he felt like he was a year older than me, that older brother shit at the time, even though I outgrown the nigga crazy, but probably by 13, because I already was banging, and he ain't know nothing about that type shit. But The nigga, I tell him, yo, if I go to jail, nigga, because I walked, because he really was making a big issue out of it. Like the shit I said sounds stupid, and he wanted to challenge it. So I said, nigga, my dumb ass, I shouldn't have never said that, because it's the reason I ended up on the island, right? With the Shy Wells nigga and all the rest of the jungle mates. While I'm going, I tell a nigga, if I go up this fucking block, bro, and I go to jail, you better take care of me, because if you don't, nigga, I'm going to kill your ass when I get out for being stupid. So I said, now let's go. And while we going, I'm telling that nigga, you better take care of me too, right? So now while we walking, slow as shit, I get to the corner. The motherfucking dicks take one look at me. Remember I told you I had the brown leather 3/4 jacket with the brown corduroys with the fucking black pumps on? That when them niggas was Trump plazering and all that, that's what I got caught in. Well, my dumb ass, I had the joint in my pocket. And you know, when you got a 3/4 coat on, the pocket gonna swing if you ain't got your shit zipped up. I had the shit open like I was a cowboy on some silly shit, and them niggas seen that jacket swing and they jumped the fuck out. I tore ass. Boom, I'm running up the motherfucking block. I hear the car backing up. Right? They chasing me and shit. Them niggas is chasing me down. I clammed the fence, grabbed some barbed wire. I'm trying to get to my man, rest in peace crib. When I get over the fence and shit, I think I had some cracks on me too. So I jumped the fence, I grabbed barbed wire again, my shit bleeding. The police grabbed my leg. I kicked him in the face. Young, I wasn't trying to go to jail. I flipped over the shit, right? My man just showed me this exit earlier, and he was telling me if I'm ever in trouble, he showed me where his window was in the back. So it's funny that right after that, I had to blaze that same trail, but they caught me and shit. And when they caught me, the cops, a white shirt, a captain came down there. This was the scariest time of my life, because it was my first interaction with a pistol with police. So the police was like, you stupid motherfucker. He was mad because the nigga was injured, right? I done threw the gun and all that on a little roof, right? He said, why the fuck you was running? I turned around and gave them niggas crack. I was like, because I had crack. He said, nah, nigga, you had a pistol, right? So they searched that shit. But the nigga said to me first, he said, yo, you stupid motherfucker, I should kill you. Now, we in a dark-ass basement, just me and these 3 fucking racist-ass devils that look like they straight out of a KKK movie. So the nigga was like, you know how I fucking kill you? He lifted his pants leg up, and he had the extra gun, the little 32 or the 38. He said, you see that? You know what that is? He said, that's a fucking throwaway. He said, you don't believe I killed your fucking ass? He said, that's just in case I don't find a gun, I can kill your stupid ass and give you a gun. I was, you know, that broke my heart, because I never knew, you know, we done seen all that slave shit, but I never really came into direct contact with racism. That was my first one. And I was a child. To know that this man would kill me and I wasn't trying to kill him, that I just had a gun on me, it's a scary experience for a young child. So I ended up going to jail. They take me out. My brother saying sorry to me in sign language. I'm looking at this nigga like, you stupid motherfucker. So I caught my first Rikers Island experience thanks to that nigga.
They went back and found that ratchet?
Yeah, they searched that bitch for hours, about 3-4 fucking hours. I sat in the fucking car. Them niggas was relentless. I got caught with another burner later on in life, and they did that same shit. Them motherfuckers sap, because when they know you got a burner on you, they don't give up, bro. They go in there and they get that burner. So you niggas throwing a burner or doing some shit, you better make sure you put that shit in a trivial place. And each time I did, they just was relentless and didn't give up and found it. So I ended up going to the island, And that's how I got into all of that shit, that Shot Wells type, all that jungle shit. But what was I telling you that for?
I just got a whole nother story out your shit. So
Yeah,
yo,
I didn't mean to, man.
so nah, I love it, my nigga. This is what I do. That's a whole story, my nigga. Know what I mean? So yo, check it. So after you came home from the island is when y'all went out to Connecticut?
Yeah, so I came home from the island. There you go. So I came home from the island and shit. Right, I got 6 months, 5 years probation. The dumbest shit in the world. The shit they give all little niggas that don't know that shit is the underhand for the overhand, the setup.
Straight up.
You know what I mean? They give you the 6 months and the 5 years probation because they know you thirsty to go home. They give you the 5 years probation because they know chances of being a young springbuck in the jungle, you gonna slip up. And them niggas is the lions, and they gonna come get you and charge you for what you did, and bang you for having 5 years probation.
And you already a convicted felon. Niggas be quick to hop on that 6 months 5, but now you're a convicted felon.
Yeah, and they can lace you up, and the next time you're another convicted felon on top of a convicted felon.
Niggas get your rights out of here early. Niggas get your gun ownership rights and all type of rights out of here early. At 16, them rights is going already.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, from there, I go to the island. When I come home, because this was the whole point. When I come home, my brother, while I'm locked up, my brother's getting money. You know what I mean? You know, he kind of, the niggas I was fucking with first, he done, you know, them niggas was coming asking about me because when I got locked up, I owed some money too. So them niggas was coming for that money. So they used to knock on my door. And my brother's telling me on the phone, you know, yo, them niggas keep knocking on the door. So I tell my brother, them niggas know I'm locked up. I tell my brother to tell them niggas, if they don't respect that I'm behind enemy lines, when I come home, I'm flipping them niggas behind that shit. I took it as a major disrespect. I'm in there, these pigs about to tag me, and you niggas is questioning about some fucking money. You understand? So they fell back. I guess they, you know, in the process of that, they end up seeing my brother as my brother either jumped in the mix or whatever way. I came home and this nigga was eating off of these niggas. And he had a system going. And on top of that, when I got caught with the burner, for them 2-3 days that I was around the nigga, I don't know, I might be mixing this shit up. He ended up going to Connecticut with the nigga that I told you about. That the customer that was buying too much dust. So when my brother goes, and I done grabbed him a team of niggas anyway. And it's funny, one of the niggas was with us. That nigga Star that I was asking you, did you remember? Star that had the body and shit from Yonkers. Star was one of the some other little niggas that I met. Some nigga named Jedi and a couple of other little niggas. I don't know what happened to these little niggas, but I was rounding up shooters at the time. So I done left my brother with a whole roadmap to getting money. I left him with the Connecticut Connect, and I left him with the young shooters. So when I went to jail, and these little niggas was loving me because I was like an action-packed nigga to these niggas. So they look in my eyes. All them wild niggas was attracted to my shit. So from there, my brother, what the fuck, what happened? So I come home, my brother, while he out there, and my brother used to wear a lot of jewelry, you know what I mean, at the time. He was LL Junebug type nigga, not the distant nigga or whatever the case. I don't really fuck with him. But he, you know, to get a nigga his credit, he was, you know, he had a lot of jewelry, a lot of that big shit. And cause, you know, being out there, I was plugged to the right niggas. All that shit lit his ass up really nice. Me, I was kind of a wild nigga. I was into the jungle type shit. I really didn't give a fuck about jewelry. I probably would put that shit on my little brother or something. But when I came home, them niggas stripped him in Connecticut. So this nigga come, he's crying. One thing about him and shit, you know, to get this nigga his old flowers, because he don't deserve none today. His old flowers would be, he was like Tito. Him and Tito used to fight all the time. Them niggas used to bite each other. You know what I'm saying? That's how I know them niggas was super passionate about they shit when they come to serving a nigga. So my brother, he's crying and shit. And the nigga come to me, I just got out. That nigga like, yo, them niggas robbed me. They took everything, this and that, right? He was like, yo, I want to kill all of them niggas. So I screams on that nigga, you stupid motherfucker. Why would you go all the way out there by yourself with one other nigga with all of that shit on? I'm like, I rob niggas like you all the fucking time. I'm like, if I was out there and you wasn't my brother, I would have got your ass too. So I'm telling the nigga, I'm like, I ain't going out there to go to jail. I'm like, nigga, 8 out of 10 times, we gonna get out there and we ain't even gonna get the niggas that robbed you, because you don't even know who robbed you. He didn't care. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie, at that time, my brother was an official nigga. I don't feel this way about him no more. Not because it's a feeling, but as a result of actions. But I ain't gonna burn him up on this line. I'm just keeping it official. But my brother, so I told the nigga, yo, I ain't even been home a day. I said, I ain't even see my PO yet. And he already had a bunch of niggas. He had a bunch of niggas pulling up in mad cabs. And each nigga was coming with 2 hammers. My niggas, the niggas I was plugged to was pretty serious. You know what I mean? And that money was, available. Them niggas was stupid when they robbed my brother, though. Because the reason why I say they was stupid is because if you wake up and you see a nigga standing on the corner that you don't know from nowhere, and that nigga look like he don't care about none of y'all niggas, and he got on a bunch of jewelry and he got one nigga with him, that spells a very serious problem for whoever that fucks with him. So they was kind of stupid to fuck with him, or they just didn't care or thought they didn't care. Because, I would have known what that shit mean. So, and they would have been smart if they would have thought that. They would have saved the town a lot of grief, because we put them niggas through a lot as a result of them robbing my brother. So we get up there, we go. My brother, I tell my brother I ain't see a PO yet. My brother like, if it was you, PO or no PO, the guilt shit. I'm like, you got all these niggas, you don't need me.
How y'all got up there? Y'all drove?
Yeah, we went in cabs, and 3 Harlem cabs. Couple of them niggas got arrested with us when we got there, but let me not go speed forward.
You talking about the OJs?
Yeah, so my brother, he like, yo, if it was you, PO or no PO, I would have went, right? I'm like, I knew that shit was true, because the way me and my brother was at that time, niggas would have killed King Kong if that nigga would have ran up on us. I can't bullshit about that. And a lot of niggas is lucky me and this nigga split, because I think we was Pac-Man and Shy Wells times 10 with the hammers, because I was a whole hammer nigga, a slammer nigga, and my brother just was a jammer nigga and clammer nigga, real stupid type nigga, right? UFC ass nigga. So he one of them Pac-Man dirty niggas that'll bite your face off. So, you fuck with him, you gotta know what you're doing. But we goes. When we get out there, I tell niggas before we go, man, let's get drunk. We might as well get drunk, because we going to jail. So at the time, niggas was drinking St. Ives and pouring Tahitian treats and shit and lemons and that shit. They was calling that shit the formula. You don't remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember when niggas was putting lime and
yeah,
and all that
but
shit.
Niggas was putting the Tahitian treats and the shit, the fruit punch, tropical sodas, and they was called, that shit was dumb. Everybody was getting wet off that shit. We got 100 bottles of that shit. Not 100 bottles, but probably like, in reality, maybe 10. We get pissy. We load up, we get in the car, and shit, we go out there. We get out there fast. My nigga, when we get there, everybody got hammers except me, right? But my brother still want me to go. So I'm like, what the fuck are you taking me for? You just want me to see? He like, nah, I don't trust none of these niggas that's with me. I trust you. That kind of makes sense. But what makes sense to me, knowing my brother to be a nasty motherfucker, he probably didn't want to go to jail and leave me in the street free. Because he one of them niggas that want company when his ass burned. But it's all right, you know. So anyway, we get there. Niggas get out. My mans, it's like 8 of us. Niggas go crazy on these niggas. Niggas is blamming for about 10 minutes, not even, maybe 5, 3, 4 minutes. I forgot what the cops reported. That's a long time to be shooting. Them niggas got niggas on the floor. They pistol whipping niggas. They just went up to the first crowd and started punishing them. So boom, we riding, we in the car, we get away from the scene, but the cab driver ain't know his way back to the highway, and he ended up circling back around the block. When he circled around the block and shit, the police is there. All of the people point at us like, there they go! So my mans, niggas is on one so crazy that niggas is in the cab like, yo, shoot them niggas. So everybody sticking pistols out the window. I'm knocking them niggas shit down. I'm like, nigga, we already went crazy. Now y'all niggas about to hit a cop. I ain't gonna lie, my niggas was bananas, right? Especially when together. So I had to knock the guns out the window. I'll make the cab drive off, right? So while we driving off, it's 3 cars. Them niggas is on our ass, but where we was at, which I won't say, it's mad little cut blocks and ditch blocks like Chicago or some shit, you know what I mean? So we hitting these blocks, we making these turns, they on our ass. So now I'm telling, we get on they had this little bridge. There's mad guns in that water too. We threw all the guns out the window while we was crossing the bridge. They never found none of the hammers, right? I guess they didn't know at what point we started tossing them, because we covered a lot of mileage while we was dipping. They didn't have no hammers when we got caught. So to this day, it might be like 5, 6 machine guns in that motherfucker, a couple of handguns and all that. But anyway, they catch us. When they catch us, they surround the highway, they put the beads down, bust the tires. The cab driver, before we even went, the cabs told us, nigga, if y'all get caught, y'all don't know us, right? So the cab driver jumped out, and he was like, I'm the cab driver, right? I jumped out for my brother, like, drive. He like, get in the seat. I'm like, hell fucking no. Look at that nigga hand. The police was scared to death, right? He said, don't move, you son of a bitch. I'll blow your fucking head off, right? And I'm looking at this nigga hand in the night with the light over this nigga in his hands. That's just shaking like a motherfucker, right?
You said it's nighttime?
Huh?
You said it's nighttime?
Yeah, it's nighttime. Right? You know how the highway looked from the car lights? He's standing in front of the car lights. I see all of this shit. I tell my brother it's funny because although I told him I wasn't jumping in the driver's seat, I damn sure knew I didn't want that nigga. Something just told me to get, I thought about my survival. Cause I know when you in a pack of niggas and y'all commit a crime and y'all niggas start dipping, it's every man on for themselves. Whoever get away, get away. Whoever get caught, get caught. When it's the jakes on your ass. That's been the rule since we was kids. So I already had that embedded in me. So I jumped out the car and ran to the I told them niggas before I jumped out, I said, yo nigga, I'm telling y'all niggas, telling them I'm with the cab driver. This is my alibi. So I jumps out right behind that nigga and scream, I'm with the cab driver. And I put my hand up and I'm laying down behind that, beside him, and I'm telling that nigga, yo, tell them niggas that you brought me with you because you were scared. You didn't know they was taking a long ride and you wanted company just in case something went wrong. So I was already thinking about my alibi. So I done told them niggas and told the cab driver. So they take us, they put us all on our feet. They go over my niggas with a wand, Niggas start turning purple. They like, fuck, look at the gunpowder on these little fuckers. Niggas is glowing in the dark. Like, you remember when Belly and Nas and them came through with the however you want it? Remember that neon light shit? That was on their clothes. The clubs be having it. It be in the clubs. So you could tell who got dirty clothes on and shit. But anyway, they used to have that in the tunnel. But they warned niggas and everybody turning colors from gunpowder, and they took niggas. They took us to the shit. Now, when we get there, they put us, they enrolled us in the system and shit. They took us to Bridgeport, North Ave, the jail and shit. When we get in this shit, it's gang activity. Now, New York didn't have no gang activity at the time. So that shit was new to us. This is like around 92. So while we in this shit, they got gangs in there. They got Hartford niggas got 20 Love, motherfucking Bridgeport nigga got the Brotherhood, and the Nation, Pump the Nation and shit. So, you know, they had a couple of official niggas, but when we get in there, one thing I noticed was they kind of lacked what New York had. You know, New York had an advantage over everybody when it came to quick bullshit. You know what I mean? We just happen to have a formula to a lot of the shit we do. A lot of them other people, they got formulas, but, you know, just not like New York. New York is kind of quicker. So when we get out there, the Latin Kings is punishing them niggas. The Latin Kings is beating up blacks. They doing, you know, and, you know, them niggas, but the blacks is, they formulating. I guess the niggas that was standing up just started getting into the stand-up position, like Dizzy and them niggas did at HDM with the Bloods. You know what I'm saying? And it was this kid named Terrence Kelly. He was the first nigga we met. So when we get in there, the Terrence Kelly nigga come to us. He like, yo, where y'all from? We was lying when we first went in there. We was telling niggas we was from New London, because we knew that shit wasn't popular. We didn't want them to know who to attack. Because niggas shot a lot of people. So
what you mean on that shootout that night?
Yeah, niggas, a lot of people got hurt. Shit was crazy. You know, niggas put that work in a bit. Nobody died, but the injuries it was clear that we was reckless. I know that because niggas ricochet, rabbit, all types of shit. Ping, ping, ping everywhere. And a couple of hits. So when we get caught and we get in there, the Terrence Kelly nigga come, big muscle, 8 looking nigga. Triple black, bald head. The nigga come, he like, yo, where y'all from? Niggas is like, we from New London. He look at us kind of funny. Our shit was all over the news. So the nigga, he looked like he might have had an edge at this point that we wasn't from there. Plus, you know, a nigga can smell a New York nigga. So the nigga was like, y'all niggas need some stuff. He came with some stuff. I'm the first one to say no, because none of my niggas been on Rikers Island but me. You feel me? And to be honest with you, them niggas wasn't seasoned for that shit like I was, because now I done been in Spofford and all types of shit. My brother did Spofford and all that shit, but he wasn't privy. I just was privy to a lot of other shit. So I jumped up and was like, nah, we don't need nothing. Plus he was brolic. I didn't know if that nigga was a booty bandit or nothing. So the nigga was like, yo, this ain't New York, bro. Yeah, he had to know when he said that. He was like, niggas don't offer you shit to try to fuck you or none of that shit, nigga. I ain't knowing none of that shit. I just see y'all niggas, and I know y'all niggas gonna need slippers and all that shit to take showers. He was like, I know y'all them niggas from off that TV shit that put that work in, right? He said, look, man, I want to talk to y'all, man, give y'all a proposition. We was like, nah, we good. He said, look, man, my name's Terrence Kelly. You know what I mean? I'm the leader of a gang called the Brotherhood, right? And he was like, yo, we like 1,000 men strong, all types of Chicago type gang talk, right? And he was like, you know, we just getting to a level to where this shit getting serious. These Spanish niggas going crazy in here on some racist shit, beating niggas' asses, and we about to put an end to that shit. And I think we whipped a couple of nigga asses at the time, or either that, or just nobody was fucking with us. They put us all together. You know, it was like 3 of us in one wing. You know, that shit is like 4 wings, man. They had 6 of us 4 of us was in the same wing, 2 was in another wing, and 1 of the adult niggas, 2 of the adult niggas was somewhere else in another block, 37 block, right? But we used to meet up at Muslim services and all that shit. So the Terrence Kelly nigga keep coming because he see that the Latin kings, they you know, they not supposed to fuck with blacks. But the niggas, they young niggas is loving us. They in the block. Them niggas is, they beating them niggas for punishment, for dealing with us. Them niggas is saying they ain't gonna deal with us no more. They coming back telling us, man, fuck that. We love y'all niggas. Like, you know what I mean? Them niggas can say what they want. We used to be telling them niggas to just cool out. Them niggas just used to love the way we was gelling. So that's how much on lock we had the shit. So the nigga, Terrence Kelly, no, that was later. Terrence Kelly comes and he like, yo, man, we need some niggas like y'all to have an advantage on these niggas. He was like, yo, this what I'm willing to do. He said, I'll make your man the treasurer, right? The worst nigga out the bunch. The nigga that'll take everything. He makes him the treasurer. An older nigga that wasn't really like that, but just was the older nigga. He told him he'd make him the vice president, which was my man Dre. So boom, niggas seen all that shit, you know, and that's kind of hard to turn down. So niggas was like, fuck that, but I was on some New York shit at first. I was like, that's when Onyx was saying, we don't throw gang signs in New York. So I was big on telling niggas, man, we ain't with that shit. You feel what I'm saying? But the way that shit was, it wasn't a gang. Them niggas was pretty much on some Malcolm X type shit, right? And the other big organization beside them was some shit called The Nation. The nigga that was running that name was Artie B. But to be real with you, just to give them niggas they props, Artie B was like a big brolic LL Cool J type looking nigga with a flat top, right? With waves going upside the flat top, right? Or just to show you what type of nigga he was. That nigga was walking around the jail with 2 other huge bouncing looking niggas. He walked up in the mine and he snuffed the emo. And that shit blew my mind.
What you mean, the civilian emo?
Yeah, punched that nigga right in his mouth for some shit. You feel me? And that shit was crazy to me because that's religious. He interrupted their services and punched this nigga in the mouth, and ain't nobody do nothing. So I'm looking at this nigga, I'm like, oh, this nigga's supposed to be him, obviously. And I knew he was him from that, because that's kind of crazy. 3 niggas is 50 people in there, literally. Now, I'm not being funny this time. Every Juma has at least 50 motherfuckers in there. You ask anybody.
And he wasn't Muslim? He wasn't Muslim?
Nah, he wasn't Muslim. He actually was like some guard body type nigga. I told you the name of the shit he was ahead of was The Nation. Later on, the Brotherhood and The Nation joined, and it became Pump Nation. Right? But I wasn't around for all that when they joined. But so anyway, when we become treasurer and man arms, and they give us the control of the fucking the shit, we start putting it in crazy, right? Like, we hunted every nigga down that told on us. We beat the shit out of every nigga that told before we got out of that shit, and we were sending them niggas back to the street, telling them niggas to tell them niggas we coming again. we done took that shit personal, cause when they gave us time, niggas was mad. Niggas was like, we gonna punish these niggas. That's what we was saying. They got these little milk carton trucks that they take you in. So, you know, at that time, Artie B was the only, it was like a handful of niggas that was crazy, though. The nigga Bush, he was from PT, the Bush's family. Them niggas get super busy. They was fucking with us real hard. They had a family called the Bagels. I wasn't with too many of them, but I know them niggas was getting busy. They had a couple of cliques, like they had some Supreme Magnetic nigga. I think he was related to CHYNA. He was getting all types of money out there. I'm not sure. You know, that's not possible, but I really strongly believe so. So anyway, while we in there, my brother and them get moved to another side, right? Them niggas working in the mess hall. They in some dorm type shit. So my brother come to me one day, right before we about to leave the joint, when they all get sentenced. My brother like, yo, this my man, right? He got 2 bodies. They about to send a nigga to the island and shit. He want to know what to do. The reason my brother coming to me is because, once again, I was the only nigga that been on the island already. So, you know, my brother couldn't answer that type of question. He had to come to me. So now the nigga comes. He bring the little nigga. I look at the little nigga. He kind of looked like my brother a little bit. I could see how him and my brother got connected. Right? He probably looked at my brother as his brother, because when I looked at him, I saw a replica of my brother, right? So when I looked at him, I was like, okay, I see why he bringing this little nigga to me. He like him. I said, what's up? Instantly, I liked him too. I said, Joe, what's up? What's going on? So he was like, I'm about to go to the island. I was like, word. He told me how his situation happened and all that. And I was like, damn, shorty, you was copping something and niggas tried to do some shit, if I'm not remembering poorly or whatever, had something to do with some niggas trying to rob him or something from the connect he had. He ended up blaming them niggas, right? So I respected his shit off the muscle, because some niggas tried to do some out of town shit to him and he just was privy and ready, you know what I mean? So that spoke volumes of him as a little nigga, because he was a very little nigga when he did that shit. And he was mad young. I was young, so I know I'm a little older than him. I know that nigga was young. I probably was motherfucking 17. So he probably, I don't know how old that nigga was. I don't want to guess and say 16, but he looked smaller than a motherfucker to me. So, after I tell a nigga, I'm like, yo, man, you ain't gonna know nobody when you get down there. I start giving that nigga mad girls' phone numbers, because I had some wild chicks they was bad, but they was like Harlem chicks. Like I was fucking with this girl that was out there, and she was like the main chick in her clique. So, you know, I was, at that time, I could get a nigga some ass and all that, just call him and be like, yo, this my man. And you know, she'd line him up with whoever. Like I could have did that for 3-4 niggas at the time, you know. So I gave him her number and a couple of other broads' numbers, where I just started giving them girl numbers that I really didn't care about. And I was like, yo, you ain't gonna know nobody out there, but you gotta move on the phone. I'm like, that's what niggas measure your respect off. I'm like, so the first thing you do is when you get in the house, you establish yourself with them phones. I'm like, if it's chairs or some shit in there, you make sure you sitting at a chair at a table. And I was like, even if you don't care about that shit, you gotta care about this shit, because this what niggas measure your respect off. I said also, if there's any breakfast being brought to niggas' cell, niggas also judge your respect off of that. I told them, you're gonna have to get it in and make sure niggas is delivering shit to you, just like they do to all the niggas that's somebody in the house. Then I told the nigga, I said, if somebody cut you, you cut that nigga and everything around him. I was like, anybody that's around that nigga or connected to that nigga, you tear their asses up, something vicious. You make sure niggas understand that you ain't tolerating nothing and you nothing to be played with and shit. So when I'm telling this little nigga that, this nigga, you know how when you tell your dog to sit down, you know how that shit be looking up at your face and it watch every move because it wants you to tell him what to do next? That's how that nigga was watching me, and I noticed it. So I didn't really get to fuck with him any further because, I was concerned for him, but I also was concerned for myself because we was getting sentenced and shit like that. And I think we got to get it in front of the little nigga too, because at the same time, we all in a little cage, little pen, in one of them small ass cells. And I was like, yo, my man said, yo, man, there's only one nigga that we didn't catch out of all the niggas that told on us. And the nigga said the nigga name. And right after he said that, police came in the door and opened the door, and they called that name out. And the nigga looked up, and the police told him to get ready, going to court, and then close the door. Oh my God. We went to this nigga, you would have thought niggas was boxers. Niggas, me and my man played the drums all over the nigga face, all types of way, hit him with the stick, all types of drum noise, bongos, all type. We beat the shit out of the nigga. And they put us in a truck with him going back. We whipped them some more, even though we was shackled up in the little milk carton half. They got two halves. So that's one of the guys we was telling them, when you go home, you better tell all them people, when we get out here, we gonna get them again. But the little nigga, I never seen him again. I was the first nigga out of the clique to get out. So when I got out and shit, I started going a different kind of ham, because I was one of them niggas that was really loyal, and I was so appreciative to the niggas that round themselves up and got it in for my brother, that they was now my family.
How long y'all ended up being locked up in Connecticut though?
Well, me, let's just say I did the less. I did 2 years, even though I was a nigga that was already on the island. You know, and how
you said you caught that case the day you came home from the island?
Yeah, nigga, man, I didn't get I think I fucked one time, bro. And I was trying to go get more pussy. And I tried to hide from my brother, like, I ain't trying to go to this shit and die for them fucking chains, and your dumb ass going out there and getting caught with your fucking pants down. So I'm taking my man Beanie. I'm trying to go get me and Beanie some pussy, because my chick had like 5 friends and they was on command with a nigga. So while I'm sliding with this nigga, my brother pulls up with all them niggas in the car talking about let's go. So I looked, man, and I told them niggas, man, we can't get no more pussy. I said, go ahead, man, I'm going to jail. I got in the car, and that's when all that shit happened.
So when you found out that that was CHYNA that you was talking to?
Oh, let me tell you how I found out. So I get to the island and shit. I come home from the Connecticut shit. I'm tearing shit up. You know what I mean? Like, trying to prepare for my niggas. I'm like, when these niggas come home, because I came home to no money. When I came home, it was crazy, the struggle. So instantly, I knew I had the platform for my niggas. I ain't want none of them niggas to come home. And I'm not super up, right? Because I knew I was going to just put it in for everybody. You know what I mean? So these niggas don't even know this shit. They would super love me if they knew the validity of this shit. So anyway, I just start going on. I start doing high level shit. I was on a run, and I moved downtown on 114th Street in an apartment. My man helped me get an apartment. My nigga Chris Lover from down there, he like a mayor down there. Everybody he could get, just everybody open their doors, cars, everything. He's not no rich nigga or nothing. He's rich in character. Super black cat looking nigga with big ass brown eyes, right? I get this nigga his props, because that nigga introduced me to a whole community as his brother. That nigga introduced me to his baby moms as his brother. You know, and that shit just kind of blew my mind. Like, damn, she got a baby by you. How the fuck she don't know your brother? But that nigga gave her the straight face, like, this my bro. So while we was down there, with some other niggas from uptown like me that was on the run too, but it was like 30 of these niggas. And I kind of knew these niggas because I was in a detention, ATD. I was in ATD with one of the niggas. Two of them. My man Chief, rest in peace, and this nigga Brickhead Tone. So I ended up going saluting these niggas, and I just seen a whole bunch of goons. All these niggas were shooters too. So while I'm staying down there, what the fuck am I getting to? And I end up catching a case again with the joint. I get caught with the joint again, and I'm on the island. They send me to Mar 2, right? So this time, fast forward, I'm in Mar 2 with a bunch of crazy niggas. I'm in there with my nigga Maurice Mayo, you know what I mean? My nigga Kareem Mayo, his cousin. I'm in there with Squeak. I'm in there with I'm in there with Gary Crespo, my nigga G from Cyprus. I'm in there with Bougie from motherfucking Cyprus. His brother, what's his brother name? His brother, I'm in there with Moyo from Mitchell's, my nigga Tucci from Mitchell's. Like, it's a whole fucking entourage of ill niggas. The Jamaican nigga Oliver, Hack Tech, Pinman, all of these niggas is in Mar 2. The nigga World was in Mar 2 with us too at the time. I never got to really fuck with him. I fucked with everybody else. He got out, but how I knew World was somebody was he had a lime green soda club, Pelly. And Brooklyn niggas wasn't hip to that. That was some Harlem shit. And Brooklyn niggas didn't even know that shit existed at that time. So for him to be a Brooklyn nigga in that jacket, I was like, this nigga's a step beyond Brooklyn. You understand? Like, he all in another bubble, innate swag. So to do that, that meant that nigga was really a heavy-handed nigga, because only certain niggas that was Brooklyn spilled over. Not everybody. You had niggas like Jesus. You had niggas like, who the fuck else was good? There's quite a few Brooklyn niggas. Prime. You had niggas like Save. You had niggas. Them niggas was spilling over because they was Brooklyn's finest so when he said that, he's not lying. He's not lying. That nigga was on my block. That nigga was on my block. Him and Save. When Save had the motherfucking Forerunner with that said Savior on the bottom. And Klein had a Q45 gray shit. Them niggas used to come in my block where we was getting that dust money at. He was fucking with my peoples. You feel me? My people and the people around my people. So, you know, them niggas was doing them. But how I got hit back to the kid, you know, he introduced himself to me as Myron. He didn't tell me his name was nothing else. I guess his name wasn't nothing else yet. So when I get to the island and I'm in Mar 2, I'm in there with niggas like Ring Dog, Kaka. I'm in there with a whole bunch of niggas that's super active and super savage. And I'm mixing with these niggas, you know, so I've been got cool with a few niggas, so, you know, I started asking questions like, you know, my niggas that have big cuts on their face. I'm like, yo, my nigga, who did that to you? Niggas is like, yo, nigga, CHYNA. I'm like, damn, that nigga got you good. I'm like, yo, my nigga, who did that to you? To other niggas, yo, the nigga CHYNA. I'm like, damn, that nigga got you good. Another nigga, all these niggas is gangsters. I'm like, yo, who did that to you? Niggas is like CHYNA. So I'm like, CHYNA. So I asked my man about him. I'm like, who this CHYNA nigga that whipped everybody? The nigga like, yo, the nigga's you know, a super werewolf or this and that, blah, 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 blah. He put his baby down on a visit. He slammed some niggas on a visit. The Bloods had him on the top of the food chain. They took the nigga off the food chain because the nigga was too much of a problem. This and that. So I'm hearing supernatural stories. So anyway, I get up, I get sentenced. Now at the time, I ain't no stranger to the shit neither. That's why if you notice, I'm asking these niggas who cut them. That's not a question you ask people. But, you know, niggas young, wild, I wanted to know. I asked some niggas. But, it was a lot of official people in there, man, that deserve their flowers. One guy that I would like to pause to give his flowers is the CO nigga Jackson. You know, Jackson was like a gangster in the house. You know, he was a CO, but the nigga was a nigga that just was getting money off of that shit. But he was a straight goon. And this nigga was like a nigga that do 300 push-ups and clips of 300s. This nigga had pictures of his kids working out. He's from Queens somewhere. You know what I mean? The nigga Jackson, I left when I was getting sent up north. I told all my friends, because my brother just got in, my little brother got into some shit, and he was about to come through. And, you know, the shit was on the news. You know, some security guard niggas slapped him and shit, and the school just went crazy. You know what I mean? There was a lot of and Brandeis, there was a lot of Dominicans in there. And it's funny though, I assisted a lot of people even though I wasn't there because I was fucking with them YTC niggas from up on 8th and Amsterdam, man. When I used to see them niggas used to tell me, yo, man, it's a nigga in my school that look like you. I'm like, what school you go to? They like Brandeis. I'm like, that's my brother. So all them Dominican niggas that helped you, it wasn't just because they saw you. It was because them niggas knew you was my motherfucking brother. I wish I could scream them niggas' name out. My son, Omar from Hun 7th. My nigga Ernie from Hun 7th. All them niggas over there from my nigga Ty Block that I met and that respected my shit. They went to that school with you and probably was one of the reasons your shit made the news. But on top of that, what made me respect the nigga Jackson is Jackson seen my brother when he came through. I was gone. The island, you couldn't live off the strength. If you was a powerful nigga or whatever and you left, some niggas ain't give a fuck about that. Nigga, your brother come through there, slap the shit out of your brother, right? So I ain't gonna lie, I threatened my niggas. I told my niggas, yo, word to my mother, if I get up there and I hear that something happened to my brother down, I did that Fat Mike shit. I was like, I'm cutting all y'all. I don't give a fuck, because you're not my friend if you let something happen to my brother. So my niggas was laughing at me. They like, get the fuck out of here. We love you, nigga. Something happened to your brother, something happening to us. So they kind of brushed that shit off, but understood what I was saying. So Jackson seen my brother coming in, my little brother, and my brother said, yo, man, I was walking in the hallway, and they had this house full of animals coming by and shit. And he was like, some big cop, diesel cop with 360 waves stopped me and said, Joe, he said, I thought I was in trouble. I thought you did something or something. The nigga said, what's your last name? My little brother told him his last name is Matt. He said, come off the line. The nigga took that nigga to the other line where all them savages was at. And that nigga said, yo, this Matt little brother, he told my brother, yo, this all your brother peoples. Go back to your house and pack your shit. My little brother said he didn't even have to do nothing this whole bit. If somebody even looked at him wrong, them niggas was ready to tear a nigga ass up. So, Jackson, I love you wherever you at, man. You know, he would have had a hard time if it wasn't for that, man. You know, and I love you for that. But it's your man John Mack. I had a fight with Jackson too, not really a fight. That nigga knocked the air out of me. I was one of the only niggas to challenge him in there. I was smoking the cigarettes. They had a non-smoking policy in Mar 2, but I did it anyway. That nigga knocked the wind out of me. But he apologized to me and sat on my bed. I told that motherfucker I was gonna kill him. But I love you, Jackson. But when I get in there, I get shipped up north, right, from my little brother. I just said all this shit to let certain shit be known because, I just want a motherfucker to know who I am too in the mix, because me giving CHYNA that jewel and then turn around and running into it like this was just really mind-boggling to me. So when I don't know that this the CHYNA nigga still. So they send me to motherfucking Comstock, right? My first look at this shit. I got a 2.5 to 5, nigga. And they send me to Comstock. They always sent me to all the worst places. Marty, Comstock, right? So I get there. When I get there and shit, that shit was a whole nother experience for me, man. I got there and shit. I see all of these motherfucking killers in there. I'm looking at niggas' cells. Niggas got motherfucking, niggas got wall carpet matching shit, surround sound. I'm just awed, like, this shit is crazy. These niggas is living like they in the hotels. I look at the nigga shit, that nigga like, what the fuck you looking at, right? I'm like, oh shit, I see Satan in this nigga eyes, right? I could tell this nigga got 1,000,000 years. I'm glad I never was no dummy, right, that cared about what people think. Because if I did, I would have responded to this nigga on some dumb shit. And to meet tough with tough at that time would have been silly, because I got a 2.5 to 5. I could look in this nigga eyes and tell he had eternity. So that's the first thing I said. I turned my head and he was locked behind the cage. I said, man, lesson number 1, don't look at nobody's shit, right? But I also decided not to even respond. But I said, if this nigga approached me again, I'm killing him. Because I could tell he was that type of nigga. He ain't gonna come trying to hurt you. He gonna come try to kill you and give you some of that pain that he got. Fortunately for me, the nigga never appeared. But even so, unbeknown to me, I was strong as fuck in the jail. Because all the major niggas from, you know, my association is kind of broad. You know, so when I got there, they put me on B8, the flats. My nigga at the time named Tyson. Tyson was running all crazy all through the full building with Shy Wells and all. His rep was way crazier than what I didn't get to make a rep yet. You know what I mean? I did a few things, but that wasn't nothing. But these niggas had reps. The nigga Tyson was in Mod 9, so all of these niggas that's all over the joint, they know this nigga too. So Tyson was a nigga that loved me so much that he used to tell everybody he was my cousin. I actually was already in touch with Tyson from there. When I got locked up in Connecticut, I was writing him from there, trying to make him bring that brotherhood shit up here, because that shit was like something I respected. It was like a gathering of black people and everybody was really like brothers. You had everybody's phone number, all that type of fly shit. You would end up somewhere and just call a nigga and tell him, yo, I'm one of your brothers, blah, 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 blah. And that nigga gotta come and hold you down in any type of way that you need. So that shit was superficial. I kind of loved that shit. I haven't seen another thing to match it. But the nigga Tyson is cutting through Comstock. This nigga Tyson got a fucking herringbone on, right? If I'm not mistaken, he got another nigga behind him with an afro, and that nigga got a herringbone on too. So I ain't stupid. I already know if these niggas got herringbones on in Comstock, I know they punishing niggas. I looked at them and tell by the way my nigga was walking, I know that walk. He had that walk like I'm looking for fun. Like I'm doing time by doing crime type shit, right? That's what type of shit Tyson was in. He was a really wild boy. So the nigga Tyson had CHYNA behind him. And the nigga came to my cell and was like, yo, some nigga here said he know you and your brother. And I was like, who? He was like, CHYNA. And I was like, I don't know no CHYNA. So the nigga walked up, that nigga looked at me. That nigga said, it's me, Myron. I said, oh, shit. You CHYNA? The same little nigga that I dropped all the shit on, he went and did everything I told him. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I ain't tell him who to cut. So all you niggas that got cut by this nigga, it's not my fault. He just got the math from a real nigga, and he followed it. You know what I mean? As he should have. You know what I mean? Because he could have been any one of y'all. He was a child looking for direction, and he got that shit.
What's going on, guys? Car livery. Guess what? My client's first car. And guess what she got it with? Car livery. We delivering the car to her. First day she got a license. First day she got her car.
Got my license yesterday. I got my license yesterday my car today. Thanks for car livery.
Hey yo, new book from Lakey out now. Go cop that. Yo, listen, man, I got some major dudes that be checking out my Instagram reels. You heard? My Instagram reel game is serious. So if you out there and you need to promote something, a business, a clothing brand, an artist, a new mixtape, new album video, whatever it is you out there trying to push, you might want to be on these Instagram reels I'm throwing out here, baby. You already know I got the YouTube promo popping. But if you need that double dragon, that Instagram and YouTube promo, get at me. As always, holla at the bro Life Through Galleries if you need a photographer in New York. Classic magazine cover I was on. A lot of heavy hitters in this picture, that's a whole fact.